Alright, we have another chapter of Bakemonogatari. The last one ended in such a super hype way. I mean, I knew what was coming, and I was like really excited at what I thought were subtle hints of the next arc. And then just like right at the end, just that tiny little explicit confirmation that's like, yep, you were right. You know what's coming. I mean, obviously you know what's coming because this story has been adapted so many times before, but it's like that all of those little hints, those were actually deliberate like you thought. Oh, it got me hyped up. And then, starting this chapter, we have an even more explicit confirmation of what we're going into with this simple narration. Sengoku Nadeko is my sister's classmate. Sure, it sounds like nothing bad could happen from that. And here is a flashback. Young Koyomi making his way upstairs, being greeted by Tsuhiki. A whole army of children. Not to land. They're going to the local park to play. All these girls, and I guess some boys. Do any of them form an impression on young Araragi? I say that, but I was just in grade school back then. To be honest, all my sister's faces looked exactly the same, so I don't remember them much at all. But here, of course, is Sengoku running past. Even then, she wore a hat. If it wasn't the hat, it's still a hat. If I start talking about this particular case from its conclusion, it seems that Sengoku Nadeko, of all the little sister friends I faintly remember, ended up becoming that one friend I just couldn't forget about. I think that's what happened. So, Araragi was brought along on this incident. Oh, look at this wonderful introduction page to the next major arc, the Nadeko snake. We see her gleefully skipping from desk to desk, Araragi in the corner looking on with some big brotherly approval. And yet in this normal seeming scene, this regular classroom where so many days of innocent play might have transpassed, what do we see? The imprint of a snake, bejeweled and decorated with flowers and lace motifs, stretching all along the classroom, but in a kind of a transcendent way, just layered upon it, you know, covering over the curtains and appearing in the window frames and going over the chalkboard and the papers without disturbing anything seemingly, but just overlaid on top this other aspect of reality. And it seems harmless enough, but what do we see dripping from it? Black rain? No. It surely must be blood. So, Araragi, hanging out once again, watching, you know, the girl that we just spent the entire last arc with, whose name has just blanked from my mind. The monkey? What's her name? Kanbaru, jumping overhead, skidding to a stop. And going on in another gigantic rant that I'm just blown away by the translator's patience, that they don't just put like, okay, she says some stuff here. Seems you don't want to hurt my feelings, so obviously polite here. You really are a good guy. Generosity you've had ever since you were born is on another level. As long as I'm walking 3 steps back and I don't look up, I will never grasp your entire story. You touched my heart mere seconds after I met you. The magnanimousness of your heart truly surprises me. Seems I have to give you a lifetime's worth of respect, all only for you, Araragi-senpai. What is this? Oh man, I'm expressing bitterness now. Oh, I see. The 3 mottos expected of Japanese women. Stand next to men, support men, must be humble. So those are the 3 steps back or whatever. And Araragi not even trying to like argue this anymore. Just giving up. Let's just go. What does he notice? She's got a boxed lunch with her today. She's wearing a pretty cool outfit. Whoa, what the heck? What? You're really gonna say that they're not mashed potatoes, they're marshmallows? What the heck? You just use your telepathy abilities. How bizarre. What a bizarre person. To guess that you're internally narrating something and then make a correction based on the read they had on what you were internally thinking. That's like, maybe 2 or 3 additional layers on top of normal human interaction that doesn't seem too necessary. Why not just put on a show? Yeah, she really needs to settle down. Come on, dates you hold hands has been written as the most basic of basics. Yeah, since when is this a date? Aren't they just going to his actual girlfriend's house and her actual crush's house so they can study? No? No? Super pumped up just because you invited me, so I wasn't really listening. Oh. No, it's something different. He invited her to something else. I don't really remember how this arc starts. Like, I don't remember how they encounter Sengoku again. But I guess I'll find out. Can't express admiration if you're trying to do something to it despite not dating. Jesus. Going to the mountains now. A shrine in the mountains. Ah. So this, of course, is an extremely famous location in all of the Monogatari series. But I guess this is the first time they encountered it? The Shrine of the Polar Snake? Right? Yeah, I guess, yeah, this is the first time they've gone. Wow, wow. Okay, this is exciting. So this will be the first time we've seen it depicted in the manga. Of course, in the anime, it has like a very iconic, in that sort of Shaftian way with an exaggerated architecture that you have to go up a Mount Inari-esque long, long flight of stairs with tons and tons of torii gates and bamboo on all sides. It's nowhere near realistic for just kind of a shrine in this small town. So I wonder how they'll depict it here. Ooh, nice, nice. Still with a sense of massiveness and scale, but definitely playing up the decrepitness. Whereas, in the anime, you're kind of told it was decrepit, and yet much of the scenes that were kind of taking place in that imagined space of it being very sacred and holy, it was more kind of restored and idyllic. Anyways, doing it in a shrine. Oh, Kemba is so funny. Okay, what are they really there for? It's a little chore that he's been sent on, right? That I can't even describe what I'm looking at right now. I had to close my eyes and block it out so that I could think. Oshino is sending him to go clean some stuff up, I'm pretty sure, is what's going on here. And he takes Kanbaru along because he doesn't want to endanger Senjogahara, but he needs someone who's reliable with this sort of thing. Anyways, we get some fan service. Don't exactly hate that maniac side of you. What other series can give you fan service like this? Sheesh. It's not a date. My first date with a guy. Yeah. So Araragi wisely is just kind of backing off on this whole subject matter. It's like when you try to resolve the various manias and perversions of Kanbaru, you end up in kind of some paradoxical states. But that, I think, is okay. That, I think, is actually really realistic about how people really are when it comes to these most depraved and outreaching parts of themselves. And I don't think it at all contradicts the purity and the meaningfulness and the intensity and loveliness of her crush on Senjogahara as well, which I still contend is just a fantastic Yuri story in any way, shape, or form. People can have all of this stuff and more going on. And all you can really do is just allow them to be that person. No, she's still doing. She won't shut up. I actually bought a smartphone, which I swore by principle to never buy for the last 17 years because we got lost during the date and they'll all be a waste. Wow. Woke up at 4 to make bento, several boxes full. Wow, wow. Heavy boxes alone make it feel more heavy. That is some nice bento. That is some high-grade ingredients. She's going all out. Oh my god, everything is a waste. Only getting so excited for it. The only one excited makes me look like a moron. I feel completely embarrassed, but it's a completely disgraceful dream. And you, my dear Araki-senpai, shouldn't even be dating a fool like me. Jeez, so many things about it. I'm getting way too excited. Oh my god, oh my god, I'll go get changed in my tracksuit. Oh my god, it is a day. He just gives up. I am having a day with you. Oh dear. I was looking forward to so much. Oh god. Oh god. Oh, she's so cute. In the end, that's all he can conclude. But all of this, all the parts that contradicts with all the other parts, all the insane parts, all the parts that are totally inscrutable, it still somehow adds up to cute. Which is, of course, a prevailing theme of the Monogatari series. And really kind of challenges us to think about what cute really means. Does it? No, it's just stupid fan service. Why didn't you ask me when we were going to the mountains? I should have explained it to you. I see my guide wherever we go. You know your mountains and shrines and stuff? Please go and get rhino stag beetles and shrines and stuff, right? Black tires. What? Just because they have a similar shine? Why would you go to the mountain and just get tires? What? How does Kenburu's mind work? Oshino gave me a job, yeah. Oh, what a crazy shot. Just the... I just love... okay, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I've been talking a lot in the context of Fukumoto manga about Fukumoto's anti-cinematic writing, okay? And there I kind of talked about it in situations where the setting doesn't match the emotional intensity, where gigantic conversations and revelations and stuff will take place within the confines of like a gambling arena which has been set up and has this sort of physical consistency to it, that all of these really emotional conversations are happening when they're strapped into like a ridiculous looking machine, or in a later arc that the big emotional reunion with Kaiji and his mother takes place in their bathroom and Kaiji is wearing a ridiculous disguise. Just that he doesn't seem to have a sense of allowing the reality of the situation, the reality of the story and what that would lead to be influenced at all by these emotional qualities. Whereas to have kind of a cinematic approach, you're going to write your story or even find kind of loopholes in your own story and do things that don't make sense in your own story in order to enable these moments and settings of intense drama. So I think the Bakemonogatari series has kind of the inverse thing going on, where there's still kind of an anti-cinematic feeling. But here it's that the emotions don't match up with the situation. So think about it. They're heading to this mysterious shrine in the mountains. There's so much like ominous stuff, you know, these big bamboo forests and this mysterious seals and stuff and the big old straw ropes and such. And yet they're having just this stupid, irreverent conversation. They're just BSing about whatever stuff, seemingly totally unaware of the situation kind of building up around them. And such that when the plot actually does shift, it turns into such a roller coaster of emotions. I don't know, it's great. Anyways, who do they encounter on their way up to the shrine? It seems there's an abandoned shrine up here. Wanted to stick an ofuda on the shrine. Fair enough. But who passes by? Oh, isn't that nice? In the same way that she passed by going down the stairs in Araragi's childhood home, she passes by Koyomi Oni-chan once again on the steps to the shrine. Ooh, how haunting. How wonderful. And she's off. What's up? Do you know her? No. 6 years. Oh, look at this. And ooh. See, the way that his memories of her have kind of been abandoned, the way she's kind of been displaced from time in his life, reflects the way that the shrine has been abandoned. That's enough time for humans to change, you know, or anything. Look at these backgrounds. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't recognize even recognize my grade school self if I bumped into him on the road, and he wouldn't recognize me. That's why having this regret may be a bit pointless, but sometimes I think, if only I realized sooner that it was Sengoku Medico. Oh, isn't this well done? Isn't this just haunting? In such a fresh way from all the other things in the series that have already been haunting. The idea of like a forgotten friend. The idea of someone with whom you used to have a connection, and then you don't even recognize them on the street. That, isn't that good? And then in this setting of places that have been forgotten, places that have been abandoned, what is the connection? What horrors will we find that have grown in the place that has been neglected? What do we see here in this bottom panel? Presented so subtly, presented framed by so many more mysterious and interesting things, these magical ley lines drawn all over the ground and symbols floating in the air. What is laid out so plainly and humbly on these rocks? It's a snake. It is, if I had, then perhaps this story wouldn't have ended the way it did. Isn't this good? It's gross. It's like that old Jefferson, I think, political cartoon, where the snake is all the territories, and if they're cut up, they're dead. But if they're together, they're the United States or whatever. Actually, it's nothing like that. And I don't know why I brought that up. At any rate, we're into it now. The Sengoku arc has started. Things are going to get a lot creepier and sadder before they get nicer. But hopefully you will join me for this adventure. This is, in some ways, one of my favorite arcs. I think it's very intense and very cool. And the character that they set up for Sengoku for later arcs is fantastic. In other senses, saying that it's one of my favorite arcs makes me feel very uncomfortable and feel like I've just admitted something terrible. And you'll find out why. Oh boy. Okay. Let's read another one.